Know that you are making great sacrifices to resist the power grab that's being perpetrated by Donald Trump, by Governor Abbott, and by Texas.
A quiet but high-stakes political battle is unfolding in Texas, one that's about far more than local district maps. Beneath the headlines, it's a struggle that could help shape the balance of power in Washington, the direction of U.S. foreign policy, and even how America deals with leaders thousands of miles away, like Ibrahim Traoré in Burkina Faso. At first glance, this might look like a simple case of redistricting, the kind of boundary drawing that follows every U.S. census. But this isn't the normal 10-year cycle. In 2025, midway between census counts, Texas Republicans are pushing through a mid-decade redraw that analysts say could give the GOP up to 5 additional U.S. House seats in the 2026 midterms. Those extra seats would be more than just a numbers game. They could cement a Republican majority in Congress for the rest of Donald Trump's current term, making it easier to pass his agenda, appoint his allies, and push through policies without the gridlock that comes with a divided government. For Democratic Congressman Greg Casar of Austin, this isn't just a political tactic, it's an attack on representation itself. His district is majority Hispanic, and under the proposed changes, that population's voting power would be split apart, making it harder for Latino communities to elect their preferred candidates. Casar calls it a 5-alarm fire for American democracy and a direct violation of the Voting Rights Act. Democrats have responded dramatically. More than 50 Texas House members fled the state to prevent Republicans from having the quorum needed to pass the maps. Governor Greg Abbott ordered civil arrest warrants for the absent lawmakers, which can't be enforced outside Texas but serve as a clear threat. Return or be detained the moment you set foot back home. Republicans say the changes reflect population shifts and ensure fair representation. Democrats say it's a power grab designed to lock in partisan control. What makes this fight unusual, and especially explosive, is Trump's direct involvement. His allies are openly pushing for maps that would give Republicans a structural advantage for years. Most media coverage frames this as a domestic fight, but the consequences could reach far beyond U.S. borders. A Congress tilted heavily toward Trump's political base wouldn't just shape domestic laws, it would influence how America deals with the rest of the world. This is where the connection to Burkina Faso comes into view. Half a world away, Ibrahim Traoré is steering his country on a course that rejects long-standing Western influence. At just 36 years old, he's one of Africa's most talked about leaders, not for following Washington's playbook, but for throwing it out entirely. Since taking power, Traoré has dismantled the military and economic structures that tied Burkina Faso to former colonial powers, especially France. He ordered French troops to leave, ending years of a security arrangement that many Burkinabés saw as benefiting Paris more than Ouagadougou. Instead, he forged new defense pacts with regional neighbors like Mali and Niger, as well as non-Western partners such as Russia. On the economic front, he's moved to renegotiate or cancel contracts in key sectors like mining, where foreign corporations, often Western, have long taken the lion's share of profits. His government is increasing state control and insisting that more of the nation's wealth stays within its borders. This isn't just policy, it's a statement that Burkina Faso's resources belong first and foremost to its people. Traoré has framed his leadership as part of a broader African liberation, not just from colonial history but from modern systems that keep countries dependent on outside powers. His message resonates in Mali, Niger, and across the region, inspiring debates about whether old alliances with the West are worth keeping. For Washington, this isn't simply ideological disagreement. Africa holds minerals vital to global industries, key shipping routes, and strategic military positions. In an era of competition with China and Russia, U.S. policymakers see the continent as crucial to long-term global influence. A leader like Traoré, who pivots toward alternative partnerships, disrupts these plans. This is where the Texas redistricting fight comes back into focus. If Trump's allies secure a congressional map in Texas that helps them dominate the House, it would give the president a freer hand to deal with leaders like Traoré. A friendly Congress could speed up sanctions, cut aid, and push diplomatic isolation measures without resistance. Trump has already signaled his preference for a foreign policy based on leverage and direct deals, rather than consensus-driven diplomacy. A shift of just a handful of seats could change who chairs congressional committees, what foreign policies get prioritized, and how aggressively America confronts governments aligned with U.S. rivals. The Texas map won't redraw Africa's borders, but it could redraw Washington's approach to Africa entirely. To understand why this matters, you need to look at the foundations of Traoré's strategy for independence. His playbook rests on 5 pillars. First, security independence. Traoré isn't swapping one foreign military presence for another. He's building regional defense capacity. By partnering with Mali and Niger, he's creating a bloc that can respond to security threats without defaulting to Western troops. Second, economic reorientation. In mining and other key sectors, Burkina Faso is increasing state participation and demanding fairer terms from foreign companies. This isn't just about revenue. It's about having the leverage to resist economic pressure from abroad. Third, narrative control. Traoré communicates directly with the public, framing his government as part of a shared struggle against exploitation. This messaging strengthens domestic support and sends a signal to the rest of Africa that sovereignty is achievable. Fourth, alliance diversification. By building relationships with countries in Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America, Traoré reduces the risk of isolation. If one major power turns against him, others can step in. Fifth, regional inspiration. Perhaps most important, Traoré's example is influencing movements across West Africa. Civil society groups and political actors in other countries are discussing how to adapt elements of his approach, creating a ripple effect that could shift regional power balances. For Washington, the danger isn't just Traoré himself, it's the idea that his model could spread. When one leader resists, the US can apply pressure. When an entire region begins to pivot away from Western influence, it becomes a strategic crisis. This is why a Trump-aligned Congress matters so much. With a secure majority, the House of Representatives could accelerate a range of measures aimed at countering Burkina Faso's trajectory. Congressional committees could hold hearings framing Traoré's government as a threat to regional stability. Sanctions could target key officials, state-run companies, and vital sectors like mining and energy. Foreign aid could be reduced or conditioned on policy changes favorable to US interests. Some of these actions might be highly visible, others would be buried deep in budget bills. Funds could be directed toward opposition groups, strategic communications, or intelligence gathering. With Congress and the White House in alignment, these moves could happen quickly and with minimal public debate. Timing is critical in geopolitics. A president with a friendly Congress can act fast, shrinking the window for leaders like Traoré to strengthen alliances or consolidate domestic gains. Sanctions could be paired with diplomatic pressure in international bodies, while aid cuts could be reinforced by trade restrictions. None of this would happen in a vacuum. Political engineering at home often paves the way for political engineering abroad. The battle over lines on a Texas map could indirectly influence policy decisions in Africa, Asia, and beyond. The blunt reality is this: control of Congress determines who controls the levers of US foreign policy. The fight in Austin isn't just about Texas. It's about who gets to decide America's role in a rapidly changing world, and whether leaders like Ibrahim Traoré will face cooperation, confrontation, or isolation from Washington. So the next time you hear about redistricting in Texas, remember, those lines may seem local, but the ripple effects could be felt on the streets of Ouagadougou. The question isn't just who we elect, it's who those elected officials choose to challenge or support around the world. If you want, I can now also give you a short, viral YouTube title and thumbnail text for this video that captures the Texas-Traoré connection in a punchy way. Would you like me to do that?